Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. My name is Sully and this is Sully Reacts. Nothing but reactions on this channel. But instead of reacting to a song today, I'm going to react to this little 10-minute documentary style piece that I found on YouTube. In my previous video, I said I want to learn as much as I can about this band Nightwish because I have a good feeling that I'm going to really get into this band. Could be wrong, but I feel like I am. I just have that feeling, alright? I'm going to trust my gut instinct. So, I thought, why not react to the learning process as well? So, if you don't know much about Nightwish, we're going to learn together. And if you feel like this documentary didn't go over something that you think they should have went over, please let me know in the comments. Alright, I am in learning mode right now. Alright, I want to learn, and we're gonna watch it together. Alright, so the name of this piece is National Treasure of Finnish Metal, Story of Nightwish. Okay, but before we get into this, I want to play a little short video of Floor Jansen. Somebody in the comments said that it was pronounced Jansen. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Floor Jansen getting a standing ovation after she played at a Metallica concert. Alright, this was so cool to learn. A lot of people was saying that, you know, the composer of Nightwish, they said if it wasn't for Metallica, there would be no Nightwish, and I found that to be so awesome. Like, I relate to that. If it wasn't for Metallica, I wouldn't be drumming. I never would have played piano. You know, no instruments whatsoever would be in my life if it wasn't for Metallica. So I loved to hear that. I love to learn that, and I just want to play this. If you haven't seen it, it's very touching. It's pretty awesome. This happened in Amsterdam. All right, April 29th, 2023. Okay, and let me fix the screen here. All right, check this out. This is great.
Wow. I mean, I did not really think that this kind of weapon would happen, that they would go off like this. If I could drink, I would drink a bottle now. Yes!
Very cool. I loved seeing that. That's amazing. For Metallica to even imagine being asked to open up for Metallica. Like, that's crazy. That would be really just a life-changing experience, you know. So I thought that was cool. I thought that was awesome. I am going to put on this documentary now. Alright, National Treasure of Finnish Metal, Story of Nightwish. Let's go.
You can't discuss Finnish music without bringing up possibly the most commercially successful Finnish band of all time, Nightwish. Finnish bands come in all shapes and sizes, but none of them sound quite like the group.
He said possibly the most commercial successful band of all time. Who are the other Finnish great bands? I'm very curious to learn that. I know a lot of great like Swedish bands, but I don't know much about the Finnish metal scene at all. All right, so yeah, that's something to learn about too. I want to back it up just a little bit.
Nightwish. Finnish bands come in all shapes and sizes, but none of them sound quite like the group. Even though they aren't the only one of their ilk, no other band has been able to take the world of symphonic metal to the same heights as Nightwish. Behind all the grandiosity, though, lies the story of a band whose history aptly resembles a Hollywood movie with all its twists and turns. Thus, it is time to delve into the magical world of Nightwish and see what lies behind the curtain. The story of Nightwish began on July 6, 1996 in Kitee. While sitting around a campfire, keyboardist
1996. That's interesting. For some reason, I thought they were going to be older than that, the group. I thought they were going to be a band longer than that. That's interesting. Okay. I don't know why, but I was thinking, like, you know, as big as this band is and as much as people love this band, I don't know, for some reason I was thinking they've been around since like the late 80s or the early 90s at least. So to know that they started in 96, that's interesting. That's cool. All right, let me back it up a little bit.
1996 in Kitee. While sitting around a campfire, keyboardist Tuomas Holopainen got the idea to form a new group whose music would be an atmospheric mix of acoustic guitar, piano, and female vocals. On the back of this idea, he invited guitarist Erno Emppu Vuorinen to the group, as well as classically trained singer Tarja Turunen. The band were soon dubbed Nightwish, which was the first song the trio wrote together. After recording their first demo, the band were joined by drummer Jukka Nevalainen. Soon the group began taking more influences from metal music, which laid the groundwork for Nightwish's later signature sound. In 1997, the band entered the studio to record their second demo, which soon found its way into the hands of Spinefarm Records, who quickly signed the group. Nightwish's debut album, Angels Fall First, was released that same year and reached number 31 in Finland. Its first single, The Carpenter, peaked at number 3. The band's first show took place on
The Carpenter. The Carpenter, is that a good one? Do you all like that one? Is it reaction worthy, you think? I don't know. Let me know.
New Year's Eve 1997 in Kitee. Because the group didn't have a permanent bass player, one Samppa Hirvonen joined them as a session player. Later, he was asked to join on a permanent basis, but had to decline due to his national military service. Around the same time, Nightwish were about to enter the studio to begin work on their second album. Thus, bassist Sami Vänskä took Hirvonen's place. Nightwish's second album, Oceanborn, was released.
Every time they showed that guitar player with the long blonde hair, Jeff Loomis, that's who I think about, Jeff Loomis. He's one of the best guitar players like ever. He just quit Arch Enemy. I don't know if y'all know who Arch Enemy is, but he was in Arch Enemy for a while. Amazing guitar player. But that's who that guy always reminds me of every time they show him. That dude right there.
Place. Nightwish's second album, Oceanborn, was released in 1998. Sound-wise, the record was a big step towards symphonic metal compared to their debut. Oceanborn peaked at number 5 in Finland, while 2 of its singles reached number 1. The album's international release also included the song Sleeping Sun, which proved to be a big hit in Germany as well. On the back of its success, the band soon embarked on their first European tour. In 2000, the band released their third album, Wishmaster, on which their metal influences shined brighter than ever before. This seemed to please fans as the record reached number 1 in Finland and went platinum that same year. On the back of the album's release, Nightwish embarked on their first European headline tour and made their first trips to South America, Mexico, and Canada. In a few short years, Nightwish had grown from a small campfire band into one of the biggest Finnish metal outfits in the world. Behind the scenes, however, things were far from good. The relationship between Sami Vänskä and the rest of the band had grown increasingly strained in only a few short years. According to Holopainen, Vänskä's lack of motivation had begun to show in the band's performances and day-to-day activities. Emppu Vuorinen had also begun to feel like a hired hand as opposed to a full-time member. Holopainen has since admitted to seriously considering breaking up Nightwish at the time. After some discussions with Sonata Arctica's Toni Kakko and hiring Evo Pohjola as the band's manager, Holopainen ultimately decided that this wouldn't be the end of Nightwish. To save the band, Holopainen first decided to fire Vanska. He was replaced by Tarret's Marko Hietala, who also took over some of the vocal duties in the group. In 2000, Nightwish released their fourth album, Century Child, which was the band's first record to feature an entire orchestra accompanying the group. The album proved to be Nightwish's biggest hit yet, charting in 8 countries. In their native Finland, Century Child went gold in only 2 hours and platinum in 2 weeks. After some tough times, Nightwish had clearly come back stronger than ever. In 2004, Nightwish released their 5th album, Once, which finally put them on the global map. The record went gold in...
For a band to go through, all those hard times and to continue to keep pushing and trying, and no matter how much you dislike somebody or how much they are getting on your nerves. I just knocked my shaker bottle off the table. I'm getting excited over here. No matter how much that person gets under your skin, you love the music, you love the band, you want to continue to give the people what they want and desire. I respect that. That's one of the main reasons why I love Metallica so much. If you know anything about Metallica, wow, they've been through the ringer. They've been through a lot, and for them to still today be playing in front of people around the world, it's insane. It's insane. That's the longevity and the desire and the want, the perseverance, just everything, just keeping on pushing and going and going and going until you drop. Nothing but respect, I love that, and Nightwish has that as well. Apparently they was going through a hard time and still rocking. It's awesome.
5th album, Once, which finally put them on the global map. The record went gold in 6 countries as well as double platinum in Finland. Once was also the group's first album to chart in the US and the UK. Following its release, Nightwish embarked on their most extensive world tour yet, which came to an end in October 2005 in Helsinki. The band were bigger than ever and their future possibilities were endless. Because of this, no one could foresee what came next. After finishing the Once tour, Tarja Turunen was fired from Nightwish with an open letter that was also published on the band's website. This came as a huge shock to both the fans and Turunen herself. According to the rest of Nightwish, Turunen's husband and other outside interests had severely affected her attitude towards the band. Turunen, for her part, described the way she was fired as a personal attack and needlessly cruel. In any case, Nightwish decided to continue moving forward and set about finding a new vocalist.
Dang. So, okay. Well, she got let go. The vocalist is like the worst person it's the worst possible scenario to lose your vocalist, because that's the voice of the band, there's only been very few bands that replaced their vocalist and they continued to do well. A lot of bands, as soon as they replace their vocalist, it's a wrap. It's over with, and they just lose a huge part of their sound, But I'll tell you a band that replaced the vocalist and continued to do well, Arch Enemy. All right. Elisa White Glues. She replaced Angela from Arch Enemy. They continued to kick butt. Who else? Sammy Hagar replaced David Lee Roth and Van Halen. They didn't do as well with Sammy, but they still did really well, Who else? Who else was a good replacement? I'm missing things. Eric Gronwald replaced Skid Row, and absolutely, or not replaced Skid Row, but replaced Sebastian Bach, from Skid Row. and he absolutely nailed it. You know, wonderful singer. He's one of my favorites. There's a few other bands that did that very well, but yeah, most of the time when a band loses their vocalist, it's not good news at all. It's most likely the end of the band, you know.
Cruel. In any case, Nightwish decided to continue moving forward and set about finding a new vocalist. In 2006, Nightwish held open auditions to find a new singer. Among the applicants was Amaranth's vocalist Elise Rude, but ultimately the spot went to former Allison Avenue singer Annette Olsen. Nightwish's sixth album, Dark Passion Play, was released in 2007. After all that had happened, expectations were high, and Nightwish were able to meet those expectations. Dark Passion Play charted in over 20 countries and nabbed the top spot in Finland, Germany, Switzerland, Hungary, and Croatia. The album has since sold over 2 million copies worldwide. On the back of the record's release, Nightwish embarked on their most extensive world tour to date, which lasted all the way to the end of 2009. After this, the group entered a well-deserved hiatus to begin work on another album. Nightwish returned to the spotlight with 2011's Imaginarum, which proved to be another hit album. To accompany the record, the band also released a film in 2012, directed by Stobe Harju. Everything seemed to be going great in the magical world of
Said they released a film. What kind of film? Just like a concert video? That might be a cool thing to react to as well. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think. What's it say? Imaginarium? Yeah, I don't know what type of film they're talking about. Maybe just a concert, or is it an actual like short film? I don't know.
12, directed by Stobe Harju. Everything seemed to be going great in the magical world of Nightwish until October 2012, when the band announced that they had parted ways with Annette Olsen. Only a couple of days earlier, Elise Rude and arch-enemies Alyssa White-Glutz had filled in for Olsen in Colorado after the latter had fallen ill. Olsen later expressed her dissatisfaction.
I did not know that. That's pretty awesome. Not the fact that she was ill, but Elisa, I think it's pronounced Elisa. Maybe I'm wrong. But her taking her spot, I did not know that. That's very interesting.
Had filled in for Olsen in Colorado after the latter had fallen ill. Olsen later expressed her dissatisfaction with the decision and claimed that her pregnancy had played a part in her firing. The rest of Nightwish denied this, stating that Olsen had signed off on hiring a long-term substitute while she was on maternity leave. The truth may lie somewhere in the middle, but in any case, Nightwish tapped former After Forever vocalist Floor Jansen to finish out the Imaginarum tour. For many.
Okay, so he either pronounced her last name wrong or I did. Alright, somebody in the comments said it's pronounced Jansen. Alright, it sounds like it's spelled with the Y, but it's a J. So, hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. I don't know who's right and who's wrong. But this guy just said Jansen, so I don't know.
For many fans, yet another change in singer was a tough pill to swallow, but it didn't take long for Floor Jansen to sing her way into the fans' hearts. The rest of Nightwish also took a liking to Jansen, and in October 2013, she was named the official singer of Nightwish. Band also announced that Troy Donockley had joined the group on a permanent basis, having performed on the band's albums and tours for several years now. The lineup changes didn't stop there, however, as Jukka Nevalainen announced that he was stepping down from Nightwish in August 2014 due to severe insomnia. His seat would be filled by Wintersun drummer Kai Hahto. Nightwish's eighth album, Endless Forms Most Beautiful, was released in 2015 and proved to be yet another global hit. Following the record's release, Nightwish set out on a year-and-a-half world tour, during which they headlined at the Wembley Arena in London, becoming the first Finnish group to do so. In 2018, Nightwish embarked on the Decades World Tour, on which they performed rarely heard material, particularly from the band's earlier albums. In 2019, Kai Hahto was named Jukka Nevalainen's permanent replacement, while the latter continues to work with the group behind the scenes. Nightwish's latest album, Human Nature, was released in 2020. While the record proved to be another commercial success, the band were unable to start a supporting tour due to the COVID-19 pandemic. As if things weren't bad enough, Marko Hietala announced that he was leaving the band in January 2021, citing depression and his personal dissatisfaction with the music industry. Nightwish were once again faced with big changes, and Tuomas Holopainen has later...
It's hard, man. It's gotta be hard being on the road, touring, you know, especially if the people you're with are being annoying or getting under your skin. Like, it's not an easy thing. I've never toured, but I've heard some horror stories about touring, you know, about Motley Crue, the whole band just not even talking to each other. Like, they would go on stage, and after the concert, they would just go their separate ways, and next time they see each other is at their next concert. You know, they didn't ride together or talk. You know, that would be miserable. That'd be miserable. I'm not saying that's what happened with Nightwish, but like, just stories like that, that'd be horrible. You know, that'd be
the music industry. Nightwish were once again faced with big changes, and Tuomas Holopainen has later admitted to wondering if Hietala's departure would be the end of the band. Nightwish soldiered on, however, and tapped Wintersun bassist Jukka Koskinen to the group. Finally, in the summer of 2021, Nightwish were able to kickstart the Human Nature tour, which will continue till the summer of 2023. The band is also scheduled to begin work on another album that will conclude the trilogy started by Endless Form's Most Beautiful and Human Nature. When you think about it, it's astonishing how Nightwish has been able to keep their place at the top of the metal world for almost 30 years now, despite all the challenges they have faced. Lineup changes are nothing new in the music world, but Nightwish is one of the few bands where each member has been irreplaceable in their own way. But despite this, Nightwish has always been able to push through the hard times and come back stronger than ever. Each lineup changes brought something new to the group. Even though their music mostly follows the vision of Tuomas Holopainen, Nightwish is more than the sum of its parts. The band's colorful history has made it into what it is today, which is one of the most interesting and imaginative bands in Finland and the world.
She headbangs good, don't she? That windmill, that's crazy. That was interesting. Like I said, I'm sure it didn't cover everything. Maybe I can find like a long form documentary and we can make like little videos out of that, if that sounds interesting to you guys. I don't know. But okay, learned a little more. Very cool. Little steps. All right, one step at a time. So that's cool. Let me know what y'all thought about that. I don't know anything about Floor Jansen yet, but from what I do know, I really like her. She seems like a really cool, passionate, nice, humble woman, you know. And yeah, there's just something about her that I like. There's a video on YouTube of her and James Hetfield from Metallica doing a fist bump, you know, laughing, having a good time. That's really cool. I enjoy seeing stuff like that. But let me know what y'all thought. And my next Nightwish reaction, I think I know which one I'm gonna do. All right, so it's not gonna be too much longer for that one, okay? But I'm probably gonna react to another band before I react to Nightwish again. I'm hoping y'all join me in this journey. All right, hopefully I can grow this YouTube channel a little bit more. I just started basically this channel. I've had my other channel for like since December 1st of last year, but I've had this one going. I would have to look and see when I posted my first video. I don't remember, but it wasn't long ago. So I appreciate you. Appreciate your love and support. If you have any suggestions, please hit me in the comments, and I hope you all have a beautiful day. I will see you soon.